Today, we're going to go on a journey. We're heading to a land that literally bridges continents and holds an absolutely astonishing diversity of life. Yep, we're exploring Turkey's hidden botanical kingdom, and we're going to uncover how two very clever groups of plants have completely mastered the art of survival. Okay, so first things first, we really need to grasp the sheer scale of what we're talking about here. Turkey isn't just a country with a few interesting plants. No, it's a genuine botanical superpower. Take a look at this number, 11,450. That's how many distinct plant species call Turkey home. It's this incredibly rich tapestry of life. But, what does a number like that actually mean? Well, to put that into perspective, the entire continent of Europe has about 12,500 plant species. So Turkey, just a single country, has nearly the same amount. That's a staggering, almost unbelievable concentration of biodiversity packed into one peninsula. And here's the real kicker. About a third of all those plants are endemic. That means you can't find them anywhere else on Earth. They are uniquely Turkish, having evolved and adapted to this very specific corner of the world. So that leads to the big question, right? Why? What makes this place so special? Well, it turns out it's kind of a perfect storm of geography. Turkey is the exact spot where three major plant geographic regions all collide: the Euro-Siberian, the Mediterranean, and the Irano-Turonian. You add to that a huge range of climates, towering mountain ranges, and the fact that it mostly escaped the last ice age, and bam, you get the perfect incubator for life. Now, inside this vast kingdom, we're going to focus on two types of plants that are true masters of survival. They've come up with these ingenious strategies to thrive in a land of hot, dry summers and cold, harsh winters. So let's meet the succulents and the geophytes. So the way they deal with the tough times is what makes them so cool. They both store resources, but they do it in completely opposite ways. Succulents are kind of like the extroverts. They store water in their fleshy leaves and stems, right out in the open for everyone to see. Geophytes, they're much more secretive, hiding their reserves safely underground in things like bulbs, corms, and tubers. And this is a perfect example. On the left, you've got the succulent Rosularia, with that tight little rosette of leaves just packed with everything it needs above ground. Then on the right, you have the delicate crocus flower. It's a geophyte, and it's spent the whole harsh season protected as a bulb, only sending up its beautiful flower when the conditions are just right. Two different problems, two brilliant solutions. Okay, let's start our tour, shall we? We're going to begin up in the north, in the mountains that run along the Black Sea coast. This is the Euro-Siberian region, and its high-altitude meadows are described as a true Garden of Eden for these plants. And honestly, it is so easy to see why. Just look at this Phytomus spurious. It's this beautiful succulent that basically carpets the rocky ground. It's perfectly adapted to the cool alpine conditions, and it's just one of many, many plants that call these northern mountains home. All right, from the highlands, our journey takes us south, down to the Mediterranean coast. This is a region defined by those hot, dry summers and mild, rainy winters. And here, in the famous Taurus Mountains, we find a completely different set of survivors. This little guy is Umbilicus rupestris, also known as navelwort. You'll find it tucked into grassy mats and crevices in the rocks, a lot of times near ancient ruins. Its whole strategy is to find those little pockets of moisture that let it survive the long, sun-baked summer. And you just can't talk about the Taurus Mountains without mentioning this absolute stunner. This is Prometheum sempervivoides, a succulent whose fiery red flowers are an unforgettable sight against the pale limestone rocks. Now this is a plant that truly embraces the sun. Now for our final and biggest region. We're heading inland. This is the Irano-Turonian region. It's a vast expanse of high plateaus and steppe that gets the most extreme climate of all. We're talking harsh, cold winters and very, very dry summers. This is where the toughest of the tough live. Now, a really key feature of this interior is something called the Anatolian Diagonal. It's this geographical line running from the northeast to the southwest, where all three of these great plant regions actually meet and overlap. And that intersection, it's like an evolutionary factory, and it's precisely where we find the highest concentration of Turkey's unique endemic plants. This harsh environment forges the most incredible beauty, like this Iris elegantissima. As a geophyte, it survives that brutal climate completely hidden underground. sending up these unbelievably ornate flowers to grace the dry, stony plains for just a short time. It is absolutely spectacular. So, as we wrap up our journey, what's the big takeaway? It's that Turkey isn't some static museum of plants. No, it's a living, breathing laboratory of evolution. The authors of our source material sum it up perfectly. They call this land a jewel box for botanists. It's a place of just immense beauty and scientific importance, filled with countless treasures. And you know the most exciting part? The lid on that jewel box is still being opened. Scientists are constantly finding new species, like the recently described succulent Leman you see on the left, and the geophyte Crocus Yaseminii on the right. This journey of discovery is so far from over. Which just leaves us with one final fascinating thought. After thousands of years of human history in this ancient land, we are still finding entirely new forms of life tucked away in its mountains and valleys. It just makes you wonder, what other hidden gems are still out there, just waiting to be found?